'Cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Shoes on, get up in the morning, cup of milk, let's rock and roll. Kink out, kick the drum, rolling on like a rolling stone. Sing song when I'm walking home, jump up to the top of the brown. Ding dong, call me on my phone, nice tea and I'll get my ping pong. Let's get heavy, can't hear the bass, boom, I'm ready. Life's sweet as honey, yeah, this beach treated like money. This cold, all alone, I'm into that, I'm good to go, I'm diamond, you know I glow up. Hey, so let's go. 'Cause I'm in the stars tonight, so watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Hey, shining through the city with a little funky soul. So I'ma light it up like dynamite. Whoa, bring a friend, join the crowd, whoever wanna come along. Word up, talk, just move right up the wall. Day or night, sky's the light, so we dance to the break of dawn.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got the medicine, so you should keep your eyes on the ball.
This is getting heavy, can you hear the bass? Boom, I'm ready. Life is sweet as honey, yeah, this bitch treat like money. And this go all alone, I'm into that, I'm good to go, I'm down, you know I glow. And let's go. 'Cause I'm in the stars tonight, so watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Hey, shining through the city with a little funky soul. So I'ma light it up like dynamite. Whoa, life is dynamite. Life is dynamite. Shining through the city with a little funky soul. So I'ma light it up like dynamite. Whoa, light it up like dynamite. Light it up like dynamite. 'Cause I'm in the stars tonight, so watch me bring the fire, set the night alight. Shining through the city with a little fucking soul. So light it up like dynamite. This is so watch me bring the fire, set the night alight. Shining through the city with a little fucking soul. So light it up like dynamite. Cause I'm in the stars tonight, so watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Shoes on, get up in the morning, cup of milk, let's rock and roll. Kink out, kick the drum, rolling on like a rolling stone. Sing song when I'm walking home, jump up to the top of the brown. Ding dong, call me on my phone, nice tea and I'll get my ping pong. This is getting heavy, can't hear the bass, boom, I'm ready. Life's sweet as honey, yeah, this beach treated like money. This go all alone, I'm into that, I'm good to go, I'm diamond, you know I glow up. Hey, so let's go. 'Cause I'm in the stars tonight, so watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Hey, shining through the city with a little funky soul. So I'ma light
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The mom and dad, I'm doing fine. You guys are on my mind. You asked me what I wanted to be, and now I think the answer is plain to see. I wanna be famous. I wanna live close to the sun. I'll pack your bags cause I've already won. Everything to prove, nothing in my way. I'll get there one day. Cause I wanna be famous. Na 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 na. I wanna be famous. I wanna be famous.
Good morning, Roselle Park Panthers. Today is May 31st, and I'm your host, Gabby, and I hope everyone is having an amazing day. As you may or may not know, May is celebrated as Asian American Pacific Islander Month. Islander Month, Asian Pacific, to close out Asian American Pacific Islander Month, I interviewed a few people from this culture and asked them what their favorite part of their heritage is. Let's see what they have to say.
My name is Christian and I'm a senior.
What's your ethnicity?
I'm Filipino.
What do you love about your culture?
The thing that I love about my culture is the food and how we're known to being great at hospitality, because I think we just love welcoming people to our country and bringing out some diverse cultures in the Philippines.
Hello, my name is Ian. I'm in 11th grade.
What's your ethnicity?
I'm from China.
What do you love about your culture?
I love the food in China. They taste delicious.
My name is Rai Garcia and I'm in 9th grade.
What ethnicity are you?
My ethnicity is Filipino.
What does your culture mean to you?
My culture means very important to me, and it's very, I don't know, special to our Filipinos and stuff, yeah.
I'm Navneet and I'm a freshman.
What's your ethnicity?
Indian.
What do you love about your culture?
I love dance, food, and the dresses.
Hi, my name is Selena and I'm a junior.
What's your ethnicity?
I'm Chinese.
What do you love about your culture?
I really love the fashion and the food.
It's amazing to hear about other people's heritages. My favorite part about the celebration is the music. Thank you to Melanie for creating the video and the information about the history of Asian American Pacific Islander Month. The other story we have for you today is one of our favorite reoccurring segments featuring our very own Mr. Kevin Rodriguez. Let's hear what useful information he has for us today.
What
First aid with KROD. First aid with KROD.
Okay, so this is part 2 of the Stop the Bleed initiative. So again, we're working on these little red packs that you find around the school. So now, in the event that someone has a penetrating wound to the chest cavity, and then so real quick breakdown of anatomy in the chest cavity. So you have your ribs, you have the muscles in between the ribs, and then underneath that you have your lungs. You have 2 of them, obviously. So whenever you have any kind of penetrating wound, whether from a stab wound or a gunshot wound that penetrates and collapses the lung, the patient runs the risk of developing a condition called pneumothorax or tension pneumothorax. So what happens is that when that happens is that the air that would normally stay inside the lungs is now escaping into the chest cavity. So the chest cavity is the space between the chest wall on the inside and the lungs. It kind of protects all the vital organs that are right there. So all that air, instead of the air being trapped inside the lung, is now escaping into the chest cavity, and then over time that pressure builds up to the point where it squeezes the other lung, it squeezes the heart, and it gets to the point where the heart can't contract and relax anymore because it's so tight that the heart can't expand and the person ends up expiring. And then the other lung gets compressed to the point where it can't breathe and the person becomes hypoxic and expires as well. So you want to remedy that situation from a penetrating wound type of situation. So now, what's causing the pneumothorax? Now, what's happening every time that the patient breathes in, all that air kind of escapes into the pleural space. But now, because you have an opening in the chest wall, that wound is now letting air from the outside getting sucked into the chest cavity inside. This is also known as a sucking chest wound. So all that pressure is coming in from them breathing, and then all that pressure is coming in from the outside air. And you might see every time they breathe out, you might see bubbling coming out of the chest wound, and you could hear the air sucking in and out of the wound. So you have to seal that wound, whether you have this little kit with you, or if you just have something like a typical first aid kit with gloves and stuff like that. So if you don't have a kit like this, and you do have a first aid kit, like a basic one, all you need is something that's occlusive, meaning that it's watertight or it's airproof. And that comes in the form of rubber gloves. So if you got gloves, obviously you put the gloves on, and then all you have to do is seal the wound just like this. All right, and that'll prevent any air from the outside coming back in. All right, but the problem with this is that once you do this, you're going to get stuck here for a bit until the EMS shows up. All right, so if you want your hands free, what you can do is, if you have a piece of plastic, like hold on one sec here. So anything that's made out of plastic will do, like a wrapper or something like that. It just has to be bigger than the size of the penetrating wound. So what you do is you take that piece of plastic, place it over the wound, and then you tape it on 3 sides. So every time that they breathe in, that air will suck that piece of plastic right into the wound and prevent air to come in from the outside. And when they breathe out, because you only taped it on 3 sides, it'll let air escape the pleural space, relieving the pressure that's being built up in the chest cavity. All right. So that's one way of doing it, and one way of improvising. It could be an ice bag, it could be a plastic bag, it could be like a sandwich bag. Anything that's plastic that's airtight will do the job, and it'll buy you enough time to save the individual's life. If you're working out of these little red packs, they have these things called hydrovents or chest seal, and there's 2 of them. We'll get into the reason why there should be 2 of these in here. So if you take one of these, and once you rip it open, you will see this little seal that's like this, and it comes with a little piece of gauze. This piece of gauze is to wipe down any blood or fluid that's in the area that'll keep this from sticking onto the wound. And then it makes it very easy to peel off. And then if you can see this, I'm not sure if you can, but it's very sticky, and it has these 3 little lines that are coming out of there. And what this does, it allows air to escape. So once you put this right on the wound, this should be the little circle you see right there. That should be right on the, right over the chest wound. And then you make sure that the whole seal sticks to the chest cavity. Now, every time the person breathes out, all that built up air and blood will come out of those little openings that you see right there. All right, and then when they breathe in, it'll suck right back in, and it'll prevent any air coming in from the outside. Okay. Now, the reason why they give you 2 of these is that, especially when you have a penetrating wound like that's caused by a gunshot wound, you might run into a situation where you might have an exit wound. So the penetrating wound enters from one end and it exits the other side. If you have an exit wound, then that's what this is for specifically. So you just roll the individual over and you look for an exit wound. If you find an exit wound, then you put the other chest seal on as well. If you don't, then you're lucky and you just worry about the entrance wound. Okay. Again, so this is what's found in the little red pack, the stops a bleed kits. But if you're at home or you're outside and you have to work out of a first aid kit or you have to improvise, any piece of plastic will do to seal the chest cavity, or just your hands. Just place your hands right over the wound, and every 30 seconds just release, let air out, and then put your hand back out over the wound. Okay? Thanks.
Thanks again to KROD for always stopping by and sharing his knowledge with us. I know I've learned a lot this year from him. Stay tuned for a message from the boys tennis team. Well, that's all we have for today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye now. Ah! It's so comfy.
Designed by RP for RP.
Ah! For winners only. Ah! Be better! Be a homie. Buy a shirt.